Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Slauson. So I am out sick today. I hope you brought your computers and phones if they will work for this. And our warm up, there are 8 problems for us to do, and I will be going over number 1 and number 7 with you. When we were graphing the other day, I thought there was still a little bit of confusion as to what your shape should look like, because when you only have a few points, you need to know what the shape is. So there's going to be 2 parts of this. One is to identify the shape of our exponential function, okay? And then the other part is going to be based on the capstone, and that just what are the different parts, the flip, stretch, compress, and all of that stuff. So let's start with part 1. So when we did our notes the other day, I showed you guys a number line, and 0 is on the number line, and 1 was on the number line. And the first thing I told you is that b, and so here's the format of our equation. B, which is the number right in front of your exponent, is going to tell you if you have growth or decay. So a couple things about B is B can never be negative. So what's going to happen is that number line will actually only exist in this direction. And then the other thing I told you is that B could never be 0. So we did an open circle. And B could never be 1, so that was an open circle. So B is going to be in one of 2 places. It's going to be in between 0 and 1, and if it's there, then you're working with decay. And decay looks like that. It goes down from left to right, kind of like a capital L. But if your B is bigger than 1, then what we have is growth. Oops. And growth gets bigger from left to right. And so those are our 2 shapes unless they flip. So let's take a look at number 1 and see what happens. So what I want to do is identify B. So we're going to start with part 1. And B is the number right in front of the X. So right now that number's a half. So B, since it's a half, here we go, means we are going to have a decay shape like this. And currently our horizontal asymptote is just right below it, okay? And now what we want to do is the second part on part 1 is, does our shape flip? So that's where we want to look in front of our B to see if there is a negative sign, and there is. So this negative right there is going to make this shape flip over our horizontal asymptote, and it's going to look like this. So this will be our final shape. And then just for a side note, our wall, this equation of this wall, it would be moving up 2 would be at y equals 2. So again, number 1, the pink shape is the final version of this shape. Now let's address the second part. What are all the different parts to, our stretch, compress, flip, left, right, as far as capstone goes? So let's start with the negative. The negative, we're going to have a flip. The 4, we're going to have a stretch. The 1/2 does not have a job. It just helps us get our points. The little 2 in the exponent is our h, so we'll do the opposite, and it will be going left 2, because you should think negative 2. And this is up 2. So let's take a look at number 7 now. All right, so looking right now, the number right in front of the exponent, it looks like it's -4. But remember, B can never be a negative number. So the real way this should be written is like this. And they just make the 1 invisible because they expect you to realize that there's a -1 hanging out in front of the 4. So because of this 4, and that's bigger than 1, our shape is going to be growth, like this. And our horizontal asymptote would be sitting right under it. It would be at y equals 0 because it never has to move up or down. And then because there's a negative in front, the shape, oops, because of that negative here, is going to flip. So when it flips, it looks like this. And the pink again is our final shape. As far as capstone goes, what are the jobs of everything? Well, the negative is a flip. 1 doesn't stretch or compress. When you time something by 1, nothing changes. The 4 is only helping us get our points. It doesn't have a job of like stretch, compress. And this 2 means left 2. So that's your warm-up. once you're finished with this, I want you to go back to the week at a glance. So just so you know, there will be something there right here. It will say key. I'll go ahead and type it now for your warm-up. Oops. And when you're done, I do want you to click on this link just to double check the rest. And then once you're done with the warm-up, you're going to move up here into the notes and watch the video on the notes. And then you'll do some practice. You're going to get your ICANN number 4 first attempt today as well.